My nephew, Tyler, was always full of questions, stories, and boundless energy. Ever since he was a toddler, he had a knack for pulling heartstrings without even trying. With his messy brown hair and big hazel eyes, he looked up at the world with wonder and trust. At 9 years old, he was starting to form his own ideas about life, family, and dreams. One bright Saturday morning, I was in my garage, sorting through old boxes and tools. The air smelled faintly of motor oil and sawdust, the result of years of unfinished projects and good intentions. Tyler had stayed over the night before. His parents were out of town for a wedding, and I could hear his sneakers scuffling on the driveway as he approached. "Uncle Mike," he called, poking his head through the half-open garage door. "Can I talk to you about something?" I brushed the dust from my hands and turned to him. "Sure, buddy. What's up?" He walked over with his hands behind his back, looking unusually serious. Tyler wasn't the shy type, so his demeanor caught my attention immediately. "I have a wish," he said, "and I need your help." Now, you have to understand, Tyler had made wishes before. Wishes for extra dessert, a new video game, a later bedtime. But this time, he spoke with a gravity that felt different. "Okay," I said, crouching to his eye level. "Tell me." He looked around as if to make sure no one else was listening, then whispered, "I want to meet my dad." The words hit me like a gut punch. I blinked, unsure if I had heard him right. Tyler's father, James, had walked out before he was even born. My sister, Amanda, had raised him alone, with help from my mom and me. James had never come around, never called, never sent a letter or gift. For all intents and purposes, he was a ghost. "Why now?" I asked softly, trying to hide the emotion in my voice. Tyler shrugged, eyes on the ground. I want to know who he is. Everyone else has a dad. I want to see what he's like. Maybe he's changed." He looked back up at me with hope that burned in his eyes, and that's when I knew I couldn't say no. Later that day, after Tyler had gone inside to play with his Legos, I sat down on the porch and thought about what to do. Amanda had always made it clear that James was not to be part of Tyler's life. She believed he wasn't capable of change, and maybe she was right. But how could I explain to my nephew that some wishes don't come true, simply because adults make mistakes? I wrestled with the decision for days. I didn't want to go behind my sister's back, but I also didn't want to deny Tyler the truth. Eventually, I decided to talk to Amanda. We met at her favorite cafe on a quiet Thursday afternoon. I ordered a coffee. She had her usual green tea. "I need to tell you something," I said carefully. "Tyler wants to meet James." Her face froze, and I watched 1,000 emotions flicker through her eyes. Shock, pain, fear. "Absolutely not," she said. "He's not good for him. He was never good for me." "I know," I replied. "But Tyler's asking questions now. He's not a baby anymore. If we ignore this, it won't go away. He'll just wonder more. And maybe resent us." Amanda looked away, out the window. "Do you think he even deserves to know Tyler?" "Honestly, I don't know. But I think Tyler deserves to know the truth. Even if it hurts. Even if it's messy." She didn't respond right away, but I saw the crack in her armor. She loved her son more than anything. That's why, eventually, she agreed, on one condition. If James agreed to meet, it would be a supervised visit, and Tyler would have the final say on how things moved forward. Finding James wasn't easy. The last we'd heard, he'd moved out west. With the help of a private investigator and a few social media breadcrumbs, we eventually tracked him to a small town in Oregon. I called him first. The voice on the other end was weary, older, unfamiliar. I explained who I was, what I was calling about. "Tyler," he repeated, as if tasting the name for the first time. "My son." He didn't ask for proof. He didn't deny anything. He just listened. When I told him Tyler wanted to meet, there was a long pause. "I've made a lot of mistakes," James finally said. "But if he really wants to see me, I'll come. I want to try." The meeting was set for a Sunday afternoon at a public park. Amanda was there, standing a few feet behind Tyler, arms crossed tightly over her chest. I stayed nearby, but let Tyler take the lead. James approached slowly, nervously. He was taller than I remembered, with lines on his face and silver in his hair. Tyler looked at him, wide-eyed. "Hi," James said, kneeling slightly. "I'm James." "You're my dad," Tyler replied, matter-of-factly. James nodded, eyes glassy.
"Yeah."
"I am." They sat on a bench and talked. At first, it was awkward. Tyler asked about his favorite color, what sports he liked, where he lived. James answered carefully, honestly. He didn't try to make himself look good. He admitted he'd been scared, immature, selfish. He said he was sorry. Over the next hour, something unexpected happened. They laughed. Tyler showed him his drawings. James talked about the guitar he used to play. Amanda stayed quiet but didn't interrupt. I saw her shoulders slowly loosen. When it was time to leave, Tyler hugged him. Not a quick hug, but a real one. James looked stunned, touched. On the ride home, Tyler was quiet. I asked how he felt. "I think I understand now," he said. "He's not perfect. But I'm glad I met him." Weeks passed. James sent postcards.
He called.
Sometimes Tyler talked to him, sometimes he didn't feel like it. There was no pressure. Amanda remained cautious, but she didn't shut the door. I learned something through all of this. Sometimes, the hardest wishes to grant are the most important. Tyler didn't want perfection. He just wanted the truth. And I couldn't say no to that. Because when a child shares a wish that comes from the deepest part of their heart, you listen. You do everything you can to honor it. And maybe, just maybe, you heal something broken in the process.